talking today all about the overwork trap, meaning you've been overworking and you're trapping yourself. And I want to share with you some qualities and characteristics about how to recognize that you are overworking before you get to a point where you're like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. And I want to share with you some ways that you can escape it. You can just stop overworking. I think, let me start by saying this. We live in a culture where we are deemed successful when we say how busy we are. You ever notice that? Watch it. The next time you say hello to someone and you ask them how are they doing, notice if they use the words good, fine, or busy. If they say the word busy, that to me is always like by the way, all three are superficial, and I'm not calling you out, I've done it too, but superficial like BS responses, right? And what I'm mindful of is that when someone says busy, what we may not realize is that we are attaching a level of self-worth and almost like a sense of pride to the other person. Well, wait. I know that's not like consciously what you're doing, but check this out. Talking to a client the other day who's literally, we coached together 6 months ago. Her business took off. She went from making $18,000 before we started coaching together to $200,000 within that 6 months. She then took 6 months off of coaching, and then she called me and was like, I gotta come back. Like, I'm fucking dying. Like, I'm so stressed. I told myself I wouldn't do this again, and I did it. And what I had shared with her is I was like, one of the very first steps that I want to take with you is for you to know exactly what are the symptoms of your stress and overworked and just doing too much before it hits. Because number one, there are signs and shots are fired and warning signs have been going off well before you called me to say, I feel overwhelmed, I want to come back to coaching. So we're going to look at that, number one. Number two, we're going to look at where does this like badge of honor come from of being so stressed? And I have reflected back to her. I said, remember when you were working at that company, because we worked in the same industry together. I said, remember when you were working at that company, I was working at this company, how hard you were working. You were working so hard to make more money, to get the better projects, to be promoted. And the harder you worked, aka the more you overworked, the more recognition you got. Maybe, oh, she's working so hard. Let's give her more money. Let's give her those better projects. Let's give her those that promotion. And what we don't realize is that we're looking to someone else to tell us that we're okay and we're enough. So your brain goes, okay, cool. So you need to overwork. You need to stop sleeping as much or get as good of sleep. You need to get rid of the workouts-ish. You need to literally not even stop to take a pee break or to eat or to get water. You're going to work through lunch. Like you have to do these things so that someone will give you the promotion, more money, tell you you did a good job, all of that shit. Right? Or is this like hitting home for you? I can like see your head nodding as you're listening to this. It's fucked up, isn't it? And we have been told it again and again and again, whether it was verbally or non-verbally. So it's why I feel so called to really help people, whether you own a business or you're thinking about owning one, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of you who don't own businesses who are listening to this podcast, but to really help you specifically stop overworking to get the shit that you want. I am all about working less and making more. And if I'm honest with you, I had to take a decrease in pay to make that happen. But my quality of life is so much better. And what I'm doing is I'm setting myself up to receive more money because I'm taking better care of myself. And while money certainly is not the one aspect of being successful, it certainly fucking helps. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to go on vacation, to spend money and time with the people that I love and care about, like there's nothing greater than that, right? And I know you feel that way. So what I want to talk about today is like the difference between working hard and working smarter. That was a big one for me, that when I started to change this way of thinking and I started to actually do some of the things I'm going to share with you, game changer. Okay. Couple other quick talking points. We're going to talk about how overworking leads to overwhelm and productivity loss. What are some things that you can do to actually prioritize your tasks and reduce the unnecessary hustle? I'm not about hustle and grind. And setting realistic business hours and boundaries. And then how do you get more time back so that you're not compromising your success? So let's get into it. All right. So working harder versus working smarter. I am all about working smarter versus harder. Okay. So what I would encourage you to do is, instead of writing a list, I'm a big, I love to have my clients journal, but this might be more supportive to you, that rather than writing it all down, just every single time you go to do something, you ask yourself, am I doing this the hard way, or is there an easier way to do it? Right? A perfect example. I wanted to knock out 4 podcasts. I'm only going to be able to get 2 done today. That's okay. But still, it's a huge accomplishment, right? But in my mind, I was like, oh, there's a button on Zoom where literally I can stop the recording and then I start another one, and I stop and start another one, and it will populate with 1 email and 1 link, and it's like so organized. It's not like me having to go back and be like, which episode did I do? It's just this like very subtle thing that makes me feel like when I go back and I name the episode and I am able to send it to my assistant and have her upload it, it's so organized that it makes me feel like, oh, I'm just working smarter, right? Another way to work smarter, not harder. I have a cup filled with, well, right now, bone broth, because that's sadly all I can get down right now. I have a parasite cleanse that I'm doing, and my belly does not like me, neither do these parasites right now. And so a way to work smarter, not harder. I could have done this episode on an empty stomach, but I know that it wouldn't have been as great and I wouldn't have been as focused had I not had a little something, something in my belly, right? I'm talking really subtle shit, you guys. Like looking at every single day, what are the things that you can do to make it really easy for yourself? And it's okay to ask others for help, So when I used to work in corporate, I was working for this commercial real estate. My old boss, who we did not align on a lot of things, would be like, I don't think you're working enough. And I'm like, you mean I'm not working enough hours, or you're not seeing me enough in the office? Like, what are you observing? And he was like, both. I just don't feel like you're working a lot. And I was like, but that's because I'm working smarter. I'm not working harder. He's like, what do you mean? I go, well, instead of going to breakfast, lunch, and dinner with 3 different people, I'm getting all 3 of those people in a lunch together, or I'm taking them to a concert and we're having dinner beforehand, and we are connecting on a real level. By the way, I was in business development. We're connecting on real shit that matters. And then they're calling me the next day and they're asking me if I want to be a part of this project. And then we're looping in the other people who were on or at that dinner and concert. That to me is working smarter, not harder. I'm not going to, that's like, I could take the, essentially 4, 5, 6 hours it would take me to go there, have the lunch, come back, or put everybody in the same room together. Like that's how my brain works, is efficiency, right? I understand that not everyone's like that. I just so happen to grow up in a dysfunctional home where there was a lot of like all over the placeness. So I think my brain just works from like, my house needs to be cleaned, it needs to be organized in order for me to get shit done. If you can relate to that, the feeling, right? So again, it's working smarter, not harder. My advice to you is look at your everyday tasks in the moment that they're happening and question, is this the best way to do this, right? All right, so I don't think it's any shock to you too on this second talking point here about how overworking can lead to overwhelm and productivity loss, but let's talk about it, okay? So when you have stressed yourself out to the point where your body is like, I can't do this anymore, migraines, headaches, nausea, throwing up, not being able to eat, when you do those things, you are not able to focus. You cause yourself to have brain fog. So you're not able to actually get the shit done that you need to get done. And as a result of that, your productivity decreases. Maybe you forget to attach the attachment. Like you literally are overworking yourself to the bone. And so something I want to be really mindful of especially when it comes to like figuring out how to like let go of this unnecessary hustle, excuse me, is being able to figure out what are the signs and symptoms of overwhelm specifically for you before it happens. So I'll give you a perfect example. I start talking very fast when I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. I will put things that belong in the refrigerator in the cabinet. I will forget what I was about to say. I will say the same things 3 times in a row, or roughly that about 3 times in a row. I notice that my heart starts racing and my stomach, like literally just below my rib cage, above my pelvic bone, I'll start to feel my stomach hurt. I will have to go to the bathroom more often, whether that's peeing or not, right? I will also find that I will have a loss of appetite, or I will be real hungry and I'll be craving sugar, carbs, things like that. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like your body, it's like, I love the expression shots fired. Like your body is literally shooting at you going, hey, pay attention to me, because if you don't, I'm not going to be able to do things efficiently. I had a coaching client the other day say to me that she was, when I first met her, before she started coaching with me, she's trying to meet a deadline. So she stayed up for 4 days to get this done, or 2 days or something like that, and was taking breaks in between to like run to the bathroom and then get a little bit of water and then finish what she was doing and then do it again. And she was like, I just realized like I push my body and my mind past those limits, but like truth be told, you're showing me that there's a different way to do it. There's a different way to find that I can get shit done with all that, without all that hustle and grind. And the reality is I often ask clients, I'm going to ask you, where's the hustle and grind coming from? Right? What's the fear? What's the fear that if you don't get this shit done, what's going to happen? And when you can look at that, it allows you to not allow fear to drive the show, for the fear not to be the one that tells you which tasks to prioritize. So something that I do that I want you, if you have a journal and pen right now, it's a great way to do this exercise. You can use it in literally every aspect of your life. I'm talking love, family conflict, I'm talking about taking a vacation, whatever it may be, running the business, you name it. Is a great way to figure out what tasks you should prioritize so that you don't hustle and grind. Is you do it's commonly referred to in therapy as cognitive behavioral therapy. But this method, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to write the words thoughts, feelings, actions. You just write them in a row. Okay. So what that shows you is that the thoughts create feelings and the feelings create the actions. So let's pause for a second. Let's just assume we don't know what thoughts we're thinking, but we are feeling overwhelmed. Okay. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, the thoughts I'm probably thinking are, oh my God, I was supposed to get all that done. I didn't get any of it done. I have so much to do, right? We start spinning. And when we think that those thoughts and we feel that way, overwhelmed, the actions we take are totally different. They're totally different than if we came from a place of, oh, I got this. I just feel like I'm going to be able, like a sense of confidence, a calmness, right? The actions of someone who are overwhelmed are fucking chaotic. Like it's like the road runner. Like they're just running all around. You have like, you're on one task, then you're on another, you're having a conversation about this, then you switch around, you do another one. Like you don't actually come at your to-do list from a place of, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. Because what you want to do is you want to prioritize the things, in my opinion, that are going to make you, number one, feel good, AKA productive, are moving your goals in the right direction. But B, you're prioritizing this to-do list in a way that I forgot my train of thought. I'll come back to it. But oh, and I dropped the mic as well. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is that when you prioritize the tasks from a place of overwhelm, the actions are going to be chaotic. Okay. If you, again, right now, even take a deep breath in, exhale out, and let's pretend you're looking at that same to-do list. If the feeling that you're feeling is a calm confidence, the thoughts you're probably thinking are, oh, that's not bad. I'm going to get it all done. maybe I should think about, splitting up a couple of those tasks or like whatever it may be, right? The actions are going to be totally different. You're going to look at your to-do list and be like, cool, I'm going to try to get 2 podcasts done instead of the 4 today. Okay, I think that's a great way to start, right? Um, and this kind of talks about, this concept of setting better boundaries for ourselves and also setting realistic, not only boundaries, but also kind of routines for ourselves. So when when your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are based off a place of overwhelm and fear, as opposed to faith, right? As opposed to just believing that, listen, I got this. I'm feeling really calm, cool, and collective, kind of nonchalant about it. I'm able to kind of work through the to-do list, and whatever I don't get done, I'll try again tomorrow. That kind of attitude allows you to be a great example for your clients and for the people in your life, right? So now for something I've implemented is now in business versus then. Now it's like, okay, you can message me 24/7, but I'm only going to respond once a day, minimum. Maybe you'll get twice a day, depending on what you've got going on, but I don't work on the weekends. So you're welcome to leave messages over the weekends, but if it's not a long weekend, I'll just plan on replying to you on that Monday, right? It's sort of this calm, cool, and collective nonchalantness. It's not how I felt when I first started the business. I was operating from a place of fear. I got to make money. I got to get shit done. I need to be successful. Okay, I was working all the time. I would let clients message me at any time. Again, same concept, 24/7, but I was actually responding most of the time. So instead, it's setting these, call it boundaries or routines or just things that you want to do for yourself that you think, again, are helping you to work smarter, not harder. What you'll find is that you're going to get more time back and you're going to feel more successful. I had a client literally say to me, it was like one of our closing calls. She was like, when I first met you, I was really struggling with uncomfortable conversations at home and with my employees. And I felt like I was losing myself a little bit. Like I wasn't dancing as much to music. I wasn't even listening to music that much. I just found that like I was so focused on being in control of my business and my life that I really wasn't enjoying it anymore. And she said, but something that you taught me to do over time was, number one, you encouraged me to remember that she has plenty of time with me and that we're going to work through all of this, number one. But number two, she's like, you would give me these small, subtle exercises that would take no more than 5-10 minutes. And yet it would give me so much energy back. It gave me so much time back. So for example, say she wanted to craft an email to the employees because there were some changes happening. She'd send it over to me first. I'd review the draft, and then we'd change a couple of things, and she'd get it out the door much quicker, right? And it was worded in a way that was very, very much from a grounded, confident place, right? Or there were times, say for example, where she might have, or you have felt frustrated and annoyed, and I would encourage her to warm her vocal cords up and go scream into a pillow, or go in the car and just let it out, right? These little small subtle things that essentially, if you think about your whole body and your energy being like a gas tank, people, places, things around us lower our energy, aka lower our gas tank, so we can't operate from a full tank. So when that's the case, we've got to actually, what's called somatic release or somatic exercises, we need to do things that don't take very much time that will actually allow you to have more energy to accomplish the things that you want. And every client that has done these breath works that I recommend, or sleeping exercises, or the screaming into a pillow, they always come back and say, I feel so much better. And then something amazing always happens. Like somebody's like, this happened recently to a client. She's a candle maker, and she was feeling super frustrated about something going on in her personal life. And we were rerouting the business so that it would be making more money and just be a little bit more streamlined and efficient, like she could, again, this whole like working smarter, not harder. And she just couldn't get past something that's going on, rightfully so. And I encouraged her to go scream into a pillow. And I said, it's going to be a little uncomfortable when you first do it, but you're going to feel so much better. She texts me afterwards. She tells me how she feels. And within, I don't know, girl, was that like 3 days, 4 days? God, I haven't taken count of her new revenue, but She sold over 100 candles in one day. It's not shocking to me, but it might be shocking to you, right? It's not shocking to me when I encourage clients to actually work through their feelings and emotions that good shit starts to happen, right? Same with you. Good shit gets to happen when you allow yourself the time and space to do it. And I said this in the last episode, I will say it again. If you are working in therapy and not feeling like you are making as quick a result as you want in your life, would strongly encourage you to talk about coaching with me. Like, come in and just do a free coaching call, see how it feels. The best way to do that is either click the link in the show notes or email me at support@katiegrimes.com. Or if you want to come into this group that I've started, where it's with other female entrepreneurs who are feeling overwhelmed, are sick of feeling like they're overworking and just having this like bleed into every aspect of their life, and are really in a place where they're like, help, like step by step, what do I need to do so I can stop overworking? I can literally have way more success. I can work less, make more, can you help me? Yes, I will show you what to do. But based off your personality and based off what I know about you as I get to know you, I'm going to be making recommendations, because there's things that I do in my business that I think are really successful for me, and they may be for you as well. But there also might be some subtle tweaks that we need to make. So the point is that in this group, or whether it's private coaching, I'm literally by your side, step by step, every part of the way. I want you to crush your goals. I care about you feeling calm, confident, organized. I care about how much sex you're having. I do. I care. And once was getting off of a consult with a client, and I was like, listen, you two, I need you to have 2 orgasms and call me in the morning, because like when we're so stressed and overworked and burned out, that's the last thing we are thinking about, despite knowing how much we love it, right? And how much we love sex. I was asked recently by a guy that I work out with. He was like, what do you talk to your clients about? And so I started sharing a lot about what I said in the podcast. And I said, but I also talk about sex a lot, because I think so many of us are feeling so stressed that we're disconnected from our bodies and we're disconnected from sex. And he was like, that's shocking. I would never think that. And I was like, but think about your own life and when you've been stressed. And he goes, yeah, fair point. I was like, it's true. So, if you, again, are in a place where you want to be around other women who are business owners, right? You're already established in your business. You want to build your confidence, you want to get some referrals along the way, maybe some new clients, and you deem yourself a connector. You love being able to connect people with the right people. This group is for you. This is called the Organized CEO Method. I'm literally, again, step by step showing you how to get organized, how to get rid of overwhelm, and feel way more in control of your business and your life. Then come on in. You're going to click the link in the show notes. Again, if you're like me and have no idea how to even click on the show notes, or every time you try to, it somehow reroutes you to something different, I'm going to really strongly encourage you to email support@katiegrimes.com and just say, I'd like to be a part of the group. Bear in mind that the group starts January 13th, okay, of 2025, but you need to have your application in, which the link is in the show notes, and I can also email it to you, before December 13th of 2024. I'm going through the applications, and you will be alerted as to whether or not I believe, based on what you shared, that this group is appropriate for you. If not, I will make another recommendation for you. But I would strongly encourage you to come in. There's only going to be 14 women in the group. I would love to absolutely have you. But I only want you coming in, again, from this place of, hey, I'm willing to get some help. I'm willing to try things differently and to work smarter, not harder, so that you essentially can work less and make more. Now, I know a lot of the guys here who listen to the episode are like, Katie, all your groups are for women. They are for right now. You're welcome to come into private coaching. You can also just do a one-off coaching call with me, whatever your gender is. I want to be mindful of that some of you are in different stages of your business, whether you're just starting, whether you've been at it for a bit. So all are welcomed. And that being said, I am excited to dive into the next episode, which I'm trying to pull up. Let's see, the myth of having it all. Why you don't have to do it all. All right, I'll see you in the next episode in health and happiness.